Hi folks, this is activity W3P2 in the mechanism design course, and you are asked to create basically a cartoon of this particular assembly that's made of two mechanisms, okay? And the mechanisms in the front one, which is called the uh, front assembly, made of main plate and the front block and the frame. And then there is the rear assembly, the mechanism associated with rear assembly, which is made of the rear plate, the rear arm, and the frame. Dimensions are your choice. Okay, let's start with the frame of this vehicle. So insert new part in there, and I'm going to call this thing the frame. All right, and we're going to make it something very simple. On that vertical plane, I draw something like that. Dimensions are not important to me here, so I'll make something like so. All right, I think this is close if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's good. And now, one thing is, uh, I want to make a little bit of a cutout here so that eventually uh, the arm, the rear arm is going to go there. So let me do a quick cleanup, quick trim. So this goes and this goes and that goes. Exit. And then I'm going to pad this thing, but to make my job easier, I'm going to make it mirror extend so that the symmetrically pad. This will allow me to make uh, the joints easier later on. And I'm going to make this thing maybe 15, maybe 10. I'll make it 10 millimeter. Dimensions don't matter. Now I'm going to create uh, the block in the front block, okay? The one that goes on here, on this piece. So insert, new part. I'll say no. This is going to be the block, front block, I say. This is going to be front block. All right. Front block. Let's go make it. It's just a box. So double click on that thing. On that top plane, I will sketch. Where are we here? Let me flip the plane so I can see it better. See that guy? It says normal view. If you flip it, it turns it so that you can see it better. The other end of it. So I'm going to draw a rectangle there. All right. Let me make this thing, this point coincident with that. Coincident. Okay, good. And then this point coincident with that line. Very good. Now I'm going to make a hole here or a shaft here where the main prop is going to go, the front prop is going to go on it. So just for visual purposes, draw a circle. Excellent. Exit. Now if I want this thing to be a shaft, I'll do a multi-path. Okay, so there are three curves here. One of them is the big one, so I'll make that thing maybe a 5 millimeter. All right, and but the direction of it is should go in the other direction. And actually, let me make it 10. Oh, yeah, let me make this thing 10. Okay, and this one I want it to be a shaft, so I'll make it 15. Good, good. All the way to the top. Save everything. Okay, I'll do save file, save management. File, save management. Let's see now, cat product, save as. I have a folder here. Desktop, January 18. It's in documents. I'm not sure. Let me just check something here. Uh, document. Okay, so it's going to go into that January 18 folder. Everything is going to go there. All right. Okay, let's go and insert the main blade. So insert a new part in there. The main rotor, main blade. Main blade. Let's go make it. Double click on that top plane. I will sketch. Okay. Flip the plane. Yeah. Why don't I project the circle? Project that circle. And then make the rest of the blade. So the rest of the blade, I'll draw it like that. So maybe, sure. Exit. And then pad it in the other direction. Make this thing 5. See how it looks like. Sure. No problem. Okay, good. Now, we do the end, the arm at the end, in the back, and the rear blade. So all the way to the top, insert, new part in there. Say no. Right click properties. I'll make this thing rear arm and rear arm. Let's go make it. Double click on a convenient plane on that middle plane. I will sketch. Okay, perhaps something like this with a profile. I'll clean it up. Okay, good. Well, first of all, I want this thing and that thing to be tangent to each other. It just looks nicer. Very good. And I want these things to be closer to each other. The center. Yeah. Okay, very good. Now, why don't I make a little circle there? Exit, add it symmetrically. And I think I want it to be 10 maybe. Let's preview. Yep, that's fine. So this is the rear arm. And actually, you know what? Let me make this thing 3. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And then finally, we're going to say the rear blade. So insert, new part, you know, this is going to be the rear blade, rear blade. Okay, let's go make it. So double click on this on a convenient plane on that. Well, I'll do it on this plane, sketch. Well, I want something like this. We can draw it here and then we assemble it later. So let me do a centered rectangle like this. Another centered rectangle like that. Actually, I want it to be right on that. Okay, another centered rectangle. I think this is fine. Okay, let's do a little bit of a cleanup here. So maybe quick trim, get rid of this and that and that and that, and make it a circle. Exit, and then pad it. Okay, 2 millimeters. Okay, that's good. Okay. I wanted this thing to be a shaft, but it's okay. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. Let me delete that. Exit. And on it, I draw a circle. And then we pad that. I could have done multi-pad too, but there. Exit and pad. You see. Okay, fine. All the way to the top and we save everything. Okay, we save everything. Now, because I want to create two mechanisms, one involving the front two pieces and one involving the rear two pieces, what I'm going to do, I will create the joints manually. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to digital markup, CMU kinematics. Okay, let's start the front assembly. Okay, so I click on, I click on assembly constraint. Sorry, I click on, well, first of all, if I click on assembly constraint, it's going to say there are no constraints. Okay, that's true. So let me click on the fix support. It says new mechanism, yes, and I will call this thing front assembly. Front assembly. Okay, instead of mechanism 1. And we created, oh, it says here, select the fixed part. So the fixed part is going to be the frame. Okay, good. Now it has been created right there. You can see that. It has been created and the fixed part is framed. So why don't we do a prismatic joint first? So we go and get the prismatic joint. Is a prismatic one between the long line and the short line, between this plane and that plane, and we're going to make it angle driven. Sorry, length driven, not angle driven. Mechanism can be simulated. Of course, I know all I have to do is to drag this thing, is going to move. That is true. Reset. Let's do a revolute joint. So a revolute joint here in this mechanism, which is a front assembly. Revolute joint between this axis and that axis, between, for example, if you want, we can do this plane and that plane, if you want them to be on top of each other, and we can make it length angle driven. Okay, and needless to say that this will have two bars. One of them is for the motion of the uh, of the uh, the prismatic one, and the other one is the motion of the plate. Okay. Now the only thing is that the ranges are not what I want. I go from 0 maybe to, I don't know, maybe 10 millimeters, something like that. So we go from 0 to 10. Okay. And then this one going to 0 to 360. Good. Now you can see if I move this thing, it go only 10 minutes to the left or right. Okay. And this one will go 360 degrees. Fine. Reset. Say okay. So this is the front assembly mechanism. Now I want to do another mechanism. So click on one more time. Click on this fixed part. It's a new mechanism, not the front assembly. New mechanism. I'll call it a rear mechanism. Rear mechanism. And we say okay. And it says select the fixed part. Well, the fixed part is again the frame. Notice that the second one has been created. And once again, the fixed part is the same frame. And we're going to do two revolute joints here. So we're going to do revolute, but just be careful. It should be in the rear mechanism. It should not be in the front mechanism. Okay, and it is in there because there are two options you've got: front mechanism, rear mechanism. It has to be in the rear mechanism. So let's do first of all this end. So that line, let me see if I can turn this thing around a little bit, and this one. And for the planes, I can do either this plane and this plane with an offset, or the middle plane, because I really what I did, I did a mirror extend. It's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you. So it's easier probably to do that plane and this plane and say this is an offset. Okay. And it's angle driven, of course. Good. Needless to say, when you do that, and when you go to rear mechanism, this will turn. And you can change the range here so that it maybe goes from 0, I don't know, to 30 degrees. Okay, fine. And close it. Now we're going to do the create the other revolute joint. So revolute, so that here, between this axis and this axis, between this plane and that plane, and it's going to be angle driven. There we are, except that the way it's oriented is not what I want, so I just double click on this joint. Oh, it was in the wrong place. Rear blade, see that? It was put in this is the front assembly. It's got two joints. Yeah, that's the wrong spot. Delete it. Nothing you can do. Delete. Okay, okay, do a revolute. Not in the front assembly, the rear assembly. Okay, so let's do once again line, and we find this thing. line, and I hit that thing, right? This plane and that plane, and angle driven. Okay, it's okay. I hit it. That's why it's not showing up. Where is that guy? It's in hiding. Let me bring it in the front. This is still, I don't like the way it is. So uh, the axes are correct, but this I want it to be flipped around. As a matter of fact, it's okay. You can. Let me go ahead and do the following. Let me go ahead and do the following. I'll go to assembly design. To this Revolut, go to this Revolut 2. This is Revolut 2. There is an offset, double click on it, and there is an arrows here. Just flip them and say okay. And now it looks good. Okay. So basically, I have two mechanisms. One of them is called let me close these things. One of them is called the front assembly, prismatic and revolute up there. And this is the rear assembly. There is revolute and revolute. Okay. And what we're going to do is now basically we're going to create a bunch of cartoons. So what do I mean by that? First of all, let's get rid of all these planes. So let me do a Control F. Find all the planes. Find them and select them, and then we're going to hide them. Okay, let me hide all of these so that we don't see them. Okay, let me also hide all these all these constraints that are generated here. So these, as we are generating joints, constraints are automatically generated. I'm going to hide them so that we don't see it. Very good. Now, we collapse all of these. Okay. So let me switch to the DMU kinematics. There we are. If you click on this link, it says there are two assemblies that you can two mechanisms that you can fool around with, the front one and rear one. So the rear one, for example, notice that the arm turns and the rear blade turns. If I switch this thing to front assembly, the block moves and the main blade turns. Reset. Okay, good. So let's make a simulation. What do I mean by that? I go to simulation right here. It says there's two of them. Do you want to do them at the same time? So I say both of them. So, okay. All right. Notice that there were two mechanisms that I selected on each other, selected simultaneously. But what happens when you do that, these dialog boxes are going to be on top of each other, right there. Okay. All right. We're going to make a cartoon. There's no physics here. So let's say that first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the front mechanism and move the block by 10. And notice that the thing is not moving. As a matter of fact, if 10 is too low, I can change the limit from here. I'll make it 20. Okay. Now see, it goes further back. In fact, if I make it 30, I can see it better. Maybe make it 40. Okay, so you can see that it goes all the way back there. Good. Now, suppose I wanted the block to go back, and at the same time, the propeller, the main prop, to turn at the same time. So I move this thing there, and at the same time, move this thing back there. So it's going to go retract, it's going to go back, and this turn. Now I say insert. See that? Insert. That's going to be the first step. Now suppose I want this fellow to turn. So for this revolute, the arm to turn, which I believe is this one. Look, turning. And I want the prop to go so many turns. Right. And then that's going to be insert. See that? This is going to be basically step 2, insert. See? Change to 2. Good. Now suppose I want this block to go back without the propeller turning, the main prop turning. So that'll be this fellow. Go back. Prop is not turning. Insert. This was 3. And suppose that what I want is the arm to turn back and propeller, rear prop turning. So that'll be this one. So go back and prop turning, and then insert. Okay, good. So look at what happens here. We have created a simulation based on these operations that I did. Now I can say, okay, show it to me. Don't use one. Show it to me in basically steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. Play. Okay. Play. Going back and turning. See what happened? A cartoon. No physics. Stop. Rewind. Would you like to uh, add another one? Add another step? For example, the prop turning. Where's the prop? That was this one. And this prop turning. That was this one. Insert. So that's going to be number 5. Okay. And can we rewind it? Can we play it? Both of them turning now. So cartoons. Okay, good. Stop, rewind. We have created a simulation right there. You can see that. And then we say, okay, good. So there's my simulation. Okay. Simulation 1 made of these 2 mechanisms. Now, can I compile this? Well, you go here. Not there. Right there. Compile simulation. Okay. Do I want to play? Do I want to create a replay or an AVI file? AVI file. So generate an animation file. Where do I want to put it? In my folder. I'll call it my first video. My helicopter video. Cartoons, remember? And then we say, okay. Don't use one. Don't use one. Use anything but one. And then say, okay. And wait for this thing to do its work. So it's going to go through simulation. And when it's done, then you can go and recover your AVI file. This is the last step, number 5 that I added. Very good. So let's go recover it. I think it must be here. This is the AVI file that I just created right there, see? Good. So you can have fun with this, make a lot of, things that look like you're creating motion, But really, there is no physics here. It's just like in grade school, you took your book and wrote or drew on top of it some soccer player, a different configuration on different pages, and then you flip through it very quickly. It looks as if the soccer player is actually moving, but there was no physics. It was just frame after frame after frame, very close to each other, which were replayed back at you.